One. Hello everyone, I'm Brandon.
I'm Kate.
And you may know us as Brondune and Posey from Behold This Crit, but we're reaching out on our own and we're going to try something a little different. So what we've done is we've decided to play our own little game. It's a D&D based game. However, we are going to be using something a little different called Lasers and Liches. And this was designed by Chris Locke. He was the lead designer on it. We're going to throw in some information so you have it. And Kate's going to kind of start by telling us a little bit about the world, what we're going to do. This is going to be our session 0. So we're going to start basing out our character, or my character, really, and go from there. So Kate?
Sure, absolutely. So really what we're going to be doing is just kind of going into the details of what we're going to be creating in this world, a little bit more about the player character, and just some details that we're going to hammer out before we actually get into our very first session, which will be a completely different episode. This is just kind of figuring out the basis, that kind of collaborative storytelling aspect of it. Okay, so very first question for this, if you're ready to get into it.
Absolutely. Let's just jump in. Eyes closed, head first. You know me.
So the very first question is going to be, who is your character?
Well, I'm going to be playing a character. His name is going to be Alec, A-L-E-C. He is what is known as a restless cybernetic. So what that means is he's kind of a robot. The way I see him is he has some sort of past. He got thrown into more or less a scrap heap, was found, and then was rebooted, which is why he's considered a restless, and is going to be more of kind of like a space taxi driver, if you want to think of him that way. So what he'll do is he will be carrying passengers back and forth and understanding who he is. He's going to be a very happy-go-lucky kind of person. The way I imagine his outfit is a Hawaiian shirt, bomber jacket, probably either like khaki pants, khaki shorts, definitely a newsboy hat kind of thing. Personality-wise, if you know Apex, think of Pathfinder from Apex. He's going to be a very happy-go-lucky kind of guy.
Cool. All right, so I do have more questions and everything, of course, to ask you, but because we have officially introduced him, why don't we roll stats for him?
Oh, absolutely.
And by we, I mean you.
So I'm going to start rolling, guys, and we are going to do the normal D&D stat roll. So that's going to be our 4d6, dropping the lowest, and we're going to go for all 6 stats?
Yes.
6 stats. All right.
So the difference between this and just a regular idea for a D&D game, I guess, is that we are going to be using purely just the stats. There are not going to be abilities skills. There aren't going to be any skills that we're going to use here. So none of that athletics, acrobatics, stealth, insight, that kind of thing. It is all purely going to be based on what your skill scores are going to be. And based on your face, they're not going to be great, but you are starting at level 1, so it's going to be certainly going to be interesting.
So far, I've done 3 rolls, so not too bad. I've got a 13, a 10, and a 14 off of these rolls. That's pretty standard, right? And kind of what we're going to be doing with this character, again, part of the system is he's going to be playing a different style of character. It is more going to be a charisma-based magic casting. So if you're familiar with D&D, think Warlock, Bard kind of aspect is what we're going for. So I'm going to keep rolling. Kate, what other things did you have to go with?
So one of the questions, and you can be super vague with this, you can be as vague as you would like for any of these questions, but what has life been like up until this point for Alec?
Alec has been very... kind of pretty good with things. He certainly has his group of friends. And what we had been discussing before, I have one more roll, guys, is that he's not necessarily looked upon because of being a cybernetic robot kind of guy and putting into a world where you're a driver, so he doesn't have to sleep, he doesn't have to eat, he can drive more, he can do more things, doesn't necessarily always lend well with everyone around him. But because he's such a nice, happy fellow, he still certainly has his friends and he still certainly has his happiness. And there's really nothing too bad about it. He does more or less live in what would be a ship or car. So he's, again, not necessarily have an apartment or a house or anything like that, which, again, allows him to make more money or have more money, even though he doesn't, he still does some stuff with his money, mostly for upgrades and things like that. But overall, pretty good, happy little life. The way the system does work, since he is going to be a restless and a cybernetic, he has a perfect memory for up to 1 year. After that, his memory starts to fade. What we're going with the story is that he's going to have a memory for a year, but after that, he really doesn't know a whole lot. He doesn't know really where he came from, just assumes he doesn't have a family. I mean, obviously he understands he's a robot, so he knows there's probably not like a normal mom, dad, brother, sister structure. So he would just be more of a normal kind of guy like that.
What are your stats looking like?
Pretty good. So we have a 13, we have a 10, we have 14, and then 2 15s and one more 14.
Oh, dang. So you're actually pretty high up on the ability scores there.
Yeah, pretty good for those.
That's awesome.
And we're going to work on getting a sheet put together, and we'll throw that in the bottom once we have it ready to go for you to kind of show you where I'm going to end up putting my stats.
Yeah, you'll figure out what you want to do for all that good stuff.
Yeah, so we're going to, again, probably be a charisma-based person and then go from there, get you some character designs and things too. But what other questions did you have, Kate?
Yeah. So what does a normal day look like for him?
A normal day for him is mostly wake up, check in at work with his boss, get to driving, and that's pretty much it. He still likes to hang out with anybody on their coffee breaks, just have a nice chat. He does like to listen to the radio. His favorite station to listen to is GPR. Now, GPR, what is that? That's Galactic Public Radio, guys. I know, because I'm such a nerd that I had to bring NPR into our fantasy world.
That's fine. I love it and I accept it.
And his favorite show to listen to on GPR is All Space Considered. So great thing to have all around. Good times.
What did GPR stand for again? Is Galactic
Public Radio. Yeah.
Okay. I'm also taking notes as we're going through this because the whole reason for this is how I'm going to end up shaping this world and campaign for you as we play through this.
Yeah, so that's kind of a cool thing to mention. What we're doing is more of a collaborative storytelling because we both love to play. We both love to be a DM. And both really just love writing. So we're kind of work together on this. So it's a little different than our normal GM has a structure, has everybody named, has everything planned out, and is going to do it. So we're going to kind of work together to build these things.
Yeah, but I do need at least some sort of, direction to put you in. So this is what all of these questions are for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you kind of answered the next question, which was that he really likes to listen to the radio. My question was, what brings him the most joy in life right now?
Oh, absolutely. Well, radio, obviously the GPR is a big one. He does love to really just hang around and be with people. Understand what they're about, try to get into their kind of lifestyle. He has friends, work friends mostly, but outside of that doesn't do a whole lot. But they are his work friends, so they'll chat about whatever, sports, news, local stuff that they can.
Sure. What are his short-term and long-term goals, if any? There may not be any, but I figured I would ask.
Yeah, short-term, it's mostly just about he wants to upgrade himself, his ship, his navigational system.
Wants to upgrade himself?
Yeah. So, again, he's a robot. So, there's got to be cool robot parts out there, right?
There's got to, right?
It's a thing. It has to be, Kate. Write that down, please.
I really wrote it down.
But yes, so it's little upgrades like that. Probably more like cosmetics, shiny armor. And that's really it. Long-term wise, nothing too crazy. He's not necessarily an adventurer or anything like that.
So nothing specific. That's fine. I just figured I would ask. Specific. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to move away from Alex specifically, and now we're going to go into a little bit about what he has surrounding him. So what is the name of his ship?
Oh, buddy, I did not think of that one. So a name of the ship, he would probably call it Betty. Betty.
Love it.
What I'm working towards is having I guess, anagram, a reason behind each word. Alec does stand for something. Will probably be revealed in story, so don't worry. And we'll probably work for Betty on something along those lines too. I had something and I forgot to write it down as to what that would be.
Okay, great. Sorry, the computer screen went black for a second. Okay, so for right now, it is Betty. What does he love about his ship?
Well, it's his home, so he treats it as his own. He treats it as if it is his best friend in the whole wide world because that's where he lives, that's where he sleeps. Treats it with the utmost care because he feels that's where he needs to be.
What does he hate about his ship?
The fact that it's a little older, that it's pretty much a 1984 Honda Civic. Probably got rusted parts, little dinged up. It's just old. It gets in point A, gets in point B, loves it to death, but at the same time, if he could upgrade, certainly upgrade.
Sure. Which kind of brings us into one just little kind of tease aspect about some of the stats for various aspects of this. So for the ship, there's, at least for the very beginning, because you're going to have very much like a standard like go-kart kind of ship going on. Your three main controls are going to be your speed, your power, and then any special maneuvers. However, since you are starting out with basically a taxi cab, you don't really have many special maneuvers that we're going to have in the very beginning. It's mostly just kind of based on speed and power, neither of which you really have a ton of, because you're really just made to go from one destination to another and not traverse the galaxy just yet. We're going to have things like the shield, which is going to be kind of like the AC in D&D, and we're going to have your durability, which is going to be like the HP of the ship. So various things will happen as you start taking on damage, if that ever occurs as we go through the story.
Spoilers.
It's not really spoilers. I mean, what's a campaign game without a little bit of battle back and forth?
Boring is my answer to that.
Okay, so now we're going to get into his automated companion.
Yes.
So we originally were going to have it be named Carol, but now I think that Carol is going to be more of a higher end design.
Sure.
So I would love
high-class Carol.
Yeah, high-class Carol. I would love to workshop some ideas with
Absolutely. So if high-class Carol, low-class something else.
So originally Carol was the captain's automated records and operations log.
Correct.
So because you're not technically a captain, this is not really a ship, it's just a car.
Sure.
There's also the thought that we could just literally label it GPS and then just have it stand for something specific.
Yeah.
Or we can go with another name.
I'm thinking Joe.
Joe?
Joe.
And what is Joe going to stand for?
Joe is probably just going to stand for just ordinary equipment. JOE, just ordinary equipment. This is my boy Joe.
Oh my god, I love it though.
So,
all right, so just ordinary equipment. Also known as just standard, I suppose.
Yes.
Perfect. So this question that I'm asking it to myself, just to tell people what the point of Joe is.
Sure.
So Joe is going to be capable of certain things. If anyone has ever played any of the Assassin's Creed games, or really anything where you can hit a button or see a map that's going to allow you to see all the kind of the various treasures and little things that you might have missed that you're not able to see right in front of you, that is what Joe is going to be capable of. Very limited aspect for the very beginning, of course, because it's meant to just basically be a GPS. It's just some ordinary equipment that's there to help you in the very basics of your structure. So really just kind of GPS marking. You can put in a destination. It'll let you know the distance, time travel, everything like that.
All my side quests, all my...
No side quests.
No side quests. Oh,
nope.
Sorry, guys.
Nope, very limited here. Very limited in the beginning.
Yeah, so I guess Carol will give me side quests. Joe, not so much. But yeah, it'll be my sweet HUD system that we'll have.
Yeah.
Joe HUD, by the way.
Joe HUD. Oh my god. I'm putting that in. All right, Joe HUD. I actually love it a lot. Okay, so last section. We're going to get into some naming things.
Okay, here we go.
Put your naming cap on. So, so like you said, you are going to be working with, or working for rather, a taxi company. Basically, your role in this is that you are literally just ferrying people back and forth, small amounts of either cargo or people, no more than maybe 3 or 4 at a time, just because you physically do not have the space for it. So what is the name of this company that you work for?
Oh, buddy. So let's think. Let's work it out together.
Yeah.
So we're talking taxi. We're talking transportation. So I'm thinking
And space.
And space. So it's got to be something with a T.
Okay.
Probably something quantum, right? Because that's very spacey. Quantum space, quantum taxi. Electric dominoes, no. Electric taxi, no. Don't like that. That's not anything at all, Kate.
Electric taxi.
Yeah.
No, electric boogaloo taxi.
Exactly, the electric boogaloo. Help me out here. Throw out some words.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's galactic, galaxy, star. Because you know how they had the guiding star for American Gods. We're not ripping off anyone here, so we're not going to be using that.
No.
But just as a thought, it was the guiding star because it's a transportation to guide you in the right direction, kind of thing.
Sure.
So if you wanted something with a T, either, I keep wanting to say terrestrial, but that means Earth, so it doesn't really help.
So I mean, here's a thought. So. Here on Earth, if you put it in our terms, we have a North Star.
Sure.
Basically our guiding point, right? So it takes us to the north. What would that equate to in space?
Well,
Because
the star is super far away so that we can all see it from the planet. So something that's going to be super far away that everyone could see. Maybe like a guiding galaxy system or...
Guiding galaxy.
You know what I should have pulled up? I should have pulled up space words. So let's look up some space words.
What if we go with like a galactic transportation system? No.
Astral is a great word that is super fun to use. Celestial eclipse, nebula, shooting star, solar flare. I'm literally just looking up space words. Yeah. Supernova.
So let's think. What could we go with?
Asteroid. Meteor.
What if we just go with like astral transportation?
Astral transport?
Astral transport.
Astral transport system.
Astral transport system. ATS. Dig it.
ATS. Astral transport system. Click on it. If we want to change it, we can always change it because this isn't officially the first session, so we can do whatever we want. Okay, so we have the name of the company. What is the name of your boss?
It's going to be Tony.
Yeah, Tony.
Has to be a Tony. Like, come on. Like, you can't have a taxi cab without a Tony, and he's going to have a Brooklyn accent. I'm just saying. I'm not saying, but I'm saying. You know?
You're just putting in the accent 100%, for me.
Yes. So start working on your Brooklyn accent, Kate.
Jeez.
And we'll go from there.
Sure, absolutely. What's Tony's last name?
Does Tony need a last name?
They all need a last name.
Well, what kind of creature is Tony? Is he a lizard folk? Is he another robot?
So if we're using the... Did you actually mention what system we're using?
I did, because I said we're using the lasers and liches. So it's not necessarily, your typical elves, dwarves, dragonborns.
So if you look up the frog race that's on there,
okay,
the Grung, I think, or something similar, I was thinking that for Tony.
Oh, that'd be a good one. I could certainly see that working. So a Grung... Trog, actually.
Trog.
T-R-O-G. Trog.
I think Grung is an actual D&D.
Yeah, so Trog, think of frog, but with a T. Easy enough. So he would be... I'm guessing you're not going to allow me to get away with Tony Ribbits, but how do we feel about Tony Ribbits?
Tony Ribbits it is.
All right.
Perfect. All right, so who are the coworkers that he is closest to?
So he'd have a few different ones. Obviously, I think these guys are all mostly going to be different races. I do think that there would be some other trogs there.
Yep.
Apologize, trogs. But I think that you're really gonna mostly
Pick
have
like 3.
Yeah. 3 people or 3 races?
Just 3 individuals that you are closest to.
Okay, absolutely. So let's go with a trog, another trog.
Named what?
Well, I can't name him Tony because that's already taken. What if his name was...
I can see that you want to say Steve. I can see it on your face.
Well, I can't say... So, side note, everyone. Steve, Hank, and Esteban are my normal go-to names, and those have been banned per Kate's rules. Therefore, we have to avoid those 3 names. And I need trog names, and I don't really know of any off the top of my head. Trying to think of other space-oriented names.
His name's going to be Nestor.
Nestor. Love it.
Okay, that's 1.
So yes. So
I did want one of them just because I just really want him to be in here. I wanted, or she, or whoever, I wanted one to be the wolf race.
Wolnari.
The wolf ancestry. The Wolnari.
Yeah, Wolnari. Yeah, absolutely. I think that would be a good one to have. I feel like they would be the more gruff, grizzled veteran who's been at this for so long and is literally probably just started after he either retired or did something else. Probably has some sort of vague background of criminal.
Gruff.
Yeah.
Been here the longest. And what is this Wolnari's name?
Well, he's a wolf person. Are you gonna let me get away with Remus?
I guess.
No, all right. No. I don't like that either. I feel the same way. Well, I mean, you gonna let me get away with Grixis?
Grixis?
Yeah.
What if... Yeah. Grixis. Sure, and then one last one.
Let's see. Who else do we have? Grixis is going to be slightly Russian, by the way, so start working on your Russian accent, Kate.
You know, I need to be the one to determine what languages or accents I can or cannot
We said
speak.
this was a collaborative storytelling.
It is, but this is my physical capabilities for my voice acting, which is 0.
Same, so don't worry. I mean, you've seen me try to do Brondude, and that is probably the most inconsistent accent ever. But
it's not even an accent, it's just a dude bro attitude.
Yeah. So the last one I think would be a lot of fun. Would be I'm going to call it a Ray, R-A-I.
Yep, those are super fun.
Those guys, we'll put in a picture for you, but he is going to think of almost like a tiefling kind of idea, like a tiefling mixed with a...
Or like elven elemental tieflings kind of deal.
Yeah, so need a fun name for that. I feel like I'm leaning heavily male, so it'd probably be a female.
Okay, sure.
Either female, non-binary, whichever way. But we could call them something, and I don't know what we would call them.
Sure.
Let's see. Give us suggestions.
So the thing about the Ray is that they tend to keep the names of all of their ancestors, so they can have up to like 30 different names in one naming convention. So you could do something that's going to be a little bit more galactic in terms of maybe named after kind of like you have people who are named like River and Moon and things like that. So maybe it's more of a space type name.
What if we called him Cascade?
Cascade. Love it. Perfect.
And we will expand on that, I'm sure. They'll have a full name, but I'm just going to call him Cascade for now.
There's no way that I'm going to have her name all 30 ancestors every time that I have her speak. That would be truly terrible. But, okay, so then last question. Technically a two-parter.
2 parts.
What is the name of the city that we are currently in? I told you at the beginning.
You did not prepare me to name a city. Like that's
this
rough.
This was going to be all naming conventions.
Yes, but I wasn't prepared for city names.
You can't prepare for an improv show.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess you're right. Let's start again, Kate. Help me out here.
Okay, sure.
Let's think of some city names.
All right, so if we want it to be, you know what? We're going to do my best friend in the whole wide world, fantasy name generators.
Can't go wrong.
Okay, so place names here. Where is space? Here we go. Come on. Well, it doesn't want to load for me now.
Okay, of course, because we are actually recording.
Nope, there we go. So what if... No, I'm not going to do Eternus. I'm pretty sure someone has done that in many different video games.
I feel that one. And I do see, like... our good friend Chris here in the particular build did put in some stuff like the Grove, Castle Indomitable, Warren's Grove, and there's a fun place called Drunky Cheeses. So
well, that's like a place that would be in the city. So what if it was like Vesta Sol? The city of Vesta Sol.
City of Vesta Sol. Dig it. Love it.
Very cool. City of Vesta Sol. And the last question that goes along with that is, what is this city known for? Like, what is the big draw to this city? Why would people be wanting to use your taxi service to get there?
Sure. I feel like it would be a big central hub of things. Hub of things. No, so think of it as, like a New York, right? You go to New York, you're not driving into New York. You've got to get a taxi wherever you go, right? So you're probably going to either park your car on the outskirts of town and then you're going to get driven anywhere.
So you are not only a taxi service for inside the city, of course, but also for other planets to be brought to this very large city. Yeah.
So, and you're going to think of it as like, probably have different districts within the city, of the Vesta Sol. Financial districts, party districts, things like that. It's gonna be that's where Drunky Cheeses is. I mean, come on. So, I think that would be a great way to do it, and we'll come up with some different things there. But I think it would be, not to pull into Cyberpunk, something along those lines. But I think more of like real life New York City, where there's plenty of things to do, whatever you would need. There's going to be somewhere to go to do those things.
And a perfect starting point for small side missions to get you ready for things.
Yep. So it'll be a good way to start. I think we're going to start soon. So keep an eye out for that. Did you have other questions?
No.
All right, then we're going to start wrapping it up. So again, we're going to start recording soon. In the meantime, feel free to watch, and please watch the Behold This Crit every Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I play Brondoon. Kate plays Posey. We have our illustrious DM Lee, and we have David, who also plays Rav, and one more, Rich, who plays K-Man. So good times all around. So if you're interested in some more great D&D watching, please go check that out on the For Nerds by Nerds YouTube channel. And then we also have a Twitch channel as well, also For Nerds by Nerds. And that's where you're going to find this show once we get it recorded. So bye, everybody, and thank you.